Shalom, welcome once again to our Shurim. I'd like to discuss today a point which is very, very important. It sounds like a very big subject. We'll just touch on the small points. Subject I'd like to discuss is our purpose in this world. We're here in this world for Chaim, for Chaya Olam. What have we got to do here? How are we going to get what we need to get in this world? We know that Yaakov Avinu, his travel through this world, all the experiences that he had in this world are all lessons for us, for our travel through the world. And therefore I'd like to look a bit closer at Yaakov Avinu and what he went through and make a limud maybe for that for us. The pasuk says that Yaakov holach ladarkoi. Yaakov was always in a situation of movement, going up, gaining height, doing things with his life, using his life in the correct manner. He had all the stories which went on. Yosef being sold, not having his son with him for 22 years. He still remained the same Yaakov. His son Yosef went in the same footsteps as his father. It's interesting to see that in all the psukim, when we know that we're talking about Yosef, and we know that that same Yosef went down to Mitzrayim, was sold as a servant, was left alone by his brothers, sent to a faraway country, not knowing anybody, in the house of Potiphar, in the prison. It doesn't say in the pasuk who, he, that he went there and he went and he and he. It says every time the pasuk, if you look, it says Yosef hored leMitzrayimo, Vayhi Hashem es Yosef, Vayhi kedabro el Yosef. When Eshes Potiphar spoke to Yosef, it doesn't say he spoke to him, it says Yosef. He got this strength from his father. Yosef remained Yosef all the way through. Yosef knew, I have to remain the Yosef even though I have nothing here in this country. No yeshiva, no other Jews to talk to, nothing. But Yosef remained strong. We know that Yosef had two dreams. One dream was about cutting the tvur and ma'almim alumim, and the sheaves of tvur bowed down to Yosef. And the other dream is the shemesh v'yareach, the sun and the moon and the stars. The Mefarshim say there was two things which Yosef was bringing to light over here. When you talk about tvur, when you talk about wheat and barley, you're talking about mundane matters, ground things. Mishtachvim li, they were all bowing down to me. But then we go on to the next dream, which is a higher level dream, a dream of shemesh v'yareach, a more of a ruchnistic, more of a spiritual approach, where even on the spiritual level it was mishtachvim li. The Musfas Emes says the shemesh yareach kechovim. Shemesh is a sign of shachris. Mincha is with the yareach, and the kechovim is ma'ariv. Yosef in his life, he had very difficult time in Mitzrayim. It was very difficult for him there, but he managed to join Shamayim va'oretz. He managed to bring the spiritual things right down to Oretz, even though he was in Mitzrayim, and even though it was difficult for him, but he managed to join the two things together. Why? because he was Yosef. He was Yosef who always was mentioning and always talking to Hashem. He was in the deepest darkness, far away from home. He was an orphan from his mother, and his own brothers sold him, far away from his father. But he remained this strong Yosef. I am Yosef, and I will remain the Yosef all the way. And that is what got him through. Interesting to note, in the second dream, after he tells it over to his father, Shemesh, the sun, the moon, the stars. So Yaakov says back to him, do you think that I and your mother are going to come to bow down to you, orzo, to the ground? So somebody asked here two questions. One question, Havoi Hanovoi, will we come? Will I come to, who's talking about coming? In the dream, Yosef was on the ground, Shemesh v'Yereach were in the heaven and the Kechovim, and they were bowing down to him. Why did Yaakov add in those words, will me and your mother come to bow down to you? Furthermore, Lishtachavois, that's fine. Lishtachavois orza, to the ground, that word seems to be superfluous. Will I and your mother come to bow down to you? What is the bowing down orza, to the ground? Say the Meforshim, this very, very idea which we're talking about. Yaakov said to Yosef, Shemesh, Yereach, Kechovim, that's all spiritual things. Do you really think that I and your mother, who represent spirituality, are going to come down to you, Orza, to Tumas Mitzrayim, to right into the deep, deep darkness of Mitzrayim? And Yosef had this dream, and that was what was going to happen. Yosef was able and was going to fulfill the task of being in the deep darkness of Mitzrayim and still being able to take the spiritual things, Shemesh v'Yereach, and bring it Orza, and bring it down, right down to the level of where he was in Mitzrayim, and be able to still say, Ani Yosef, I am Yosef. You sold me, but I stayed the same Yosef all the way through. This is a powerful message. A person, through his life, has to remember, I am who I am. Ani Yosef. I have the power, and I have the Siyata Dishmaya from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help me to be able to continue in the right way. Lots of times we hear people say, if only the situation would be different in this way, in that way, then the whole story would be different. What does that mean? That means you are ignoring the actual present where you are standing. Let's look at what we have and not so much at what we think we should be having. If we just appreciate what we have and what the kelim, what we have the kelim to use to move forward, to get near to Hashem, we'll do a lot better. Rav Naftali Amsterdam, he came to Rabbi Yisrael Salanta, his Rebbe, and he said, Rebbe, if I had the mental capabilities of the Shragas Arya, if I had the heart of the Yesod Shorish Avodah, and I had the midas of you, Rebbe, Rabbi Yisrael Salanta, I would look a lot different. So Rabbi Yisrael smiled at him and said to him, my dear Talmud, just work with yourself. Work with what you have, not on the if only I had. because then you're missing the boat. Our purpose in life is to take the things that we have got, and those things, use those for our avodas Hashem. Everybody in their own way. There's a story told about a person was walking along the road and he saw a very rich man go into a jewelry store, and he followed behind him, and he walked around the shop as if he was also interested in buying, and he noticed that this man bought a very, very expensive diamond. As he walked out the shop, he followed behind him, and he followed him along the road till he came to the train station, and he saw that he was going to buy a ticket to a train. So this person thought, this is a perfect opportunity for me. I'll follow him, I'll also buy a ticket, and I'll get that diamond. He bought a ticket, and he made sure that the ticket should be in exactly the same compartment as where this rich man was sitting. Later on the journey, they moved into a small compartment, bedroom-like, and they were both sleeping in the same room. Whenever the rich man went out for a minute, the other man started looking through all his possessions. Where did he put that diamond? Under the mattress, in his case, in his pocket. And he looked and he looked and he looked, and he didn't find it. At the end of the journey, the rich man gets up to go out, and he says to the rich man, tell me, you know why I'm here, but just for my interest, tell me, where did he put that diamond? So he said to him, you think I didn't notice you in the shop? You think I didn't notice you were following me along the road? I knew exactly what you were after. I'll tell you where I put the diamond. I put the diamond in your own pocket. Your own pocket. Sometimes in life, we're looking at what we think we should have and what we need, and we don't realize that the diamond is actually in our own pocket. Every person in life has ups and downs. I once met somebody and I asked him about somebody. So he said to me, yeah, he's doing fine. So I said, you know, he has his downs. So he said back to me, don't we all? We have ups and downs. We have to realize ups and downs, everybody has them. But we have to use our ups, and we have to realize that it's natural and normal to have downs. Use the downs to get to the ups, and to use the ups correctly. When the Yetzer Hara sees that somebody's going on the border, and somebody's going close to the Mokum Hanisoyon, to a place where he can fall into the pit, the Yetzer Hara says, he's for me. I've got him. We have to try as much as possible to keep away from the Mokum of Nisoyon, from the place where we know in past we didn't do so well. And that is the way we keep ourselves in a situation where we're going up. I might just add this. People look at their life and they say, yep, I have times when I really feel good about myself, but there are times when I'm feeling down. What am I supposed to do? I like to tell the following story. A guy bought a diamond worth millions, and he didn't show it to anybody. He kept it in his safe, in a box, closed up and hidden. And he told his best friend about this diamond that he bought. And this best friend said to him, please, please, show me, at least just let me see that diamond. It was very hard for him. It was his best friend, and he really didn't want to show it to him. And he went on and asked him again and again and again, until he couldn't say no. He said, okay, come round at this time to my house. And he opened the safe, and he pulled out the diamond, and he showed it to his friend. As he was showing it to his friend, or if he gave it to his friend's hand, I don't know exactly, but the diamond fell, and the diamond got a crack on it. It was the end of his world. The $1 million diamond got a crack on. He didn't know where to put himself. He was so upset. He went running to his Rov. What should I do? I can't calm myself down. The Rov said, bring me the diamond, let me see. The diamond, he brought the diamond to the Rov, and the Rov looked at it, and he said to me, tell me, what's your first name? Daniel. Daniel? Can't you see? Look at the diamond. Look at the crack. If you just take it to a dealer and just do a little continuation of the crack, you have a beautiful dalit. It won't only be a diamond, it'll be a diamond with a dalit. It'll be you, Daniel, your diamond. He did that, and it was matzliach. What does this story teach us? We have situations where we think that the diamond is cracked. We feel down. We feel things are not going our way. But let's use these downs. Let's make them ups. Let's understand and realize that it's not only the ups that are from Hashem, the downs are also. I can do something in the down situation. I can make from a cracked diamond to a Daniel. When Yosef actually came back to his brothers and let him know that he was Yosef, the brothers couldn't control themselves. They were shocked. They were shocked. They couldn't speak. They moved back from shock. Why were they so shocked? They decided and sat and thought about it and decided that he had to be sold as a servant. That didn't change. Suddenly they see that Yosef is a viceroy of Mitzrayim and he's a melech in Mitzrayim. What are they so shocked about? Yosef answers them and says to them, I know the reason why you are so shocked. Because you're thinking to yourself, look who's in front of us, Yosef. He's still the same Yosef. And he went through what he went through. Just imagine, if he'd be 22 years, that Yosef who could learn with his father, could be next to his father, how much greater would this Yosef be? Says Yosef, you're not right. The reason why I am this Yosef is because I had all these difficulties. If I would have been next to my father all these years, who's to say I would be that Yosef? The nisyonos and the difficulties that a person goes through And if he copes with them, and nobody should have any difficulties. But if he copes with them well, he builds himself, he grows from it. He becomes Ani Yosef. Purpose in life is not that there's certain areas in life where we just pull the covers over our head and we say, okay, I'm coming out in 2 weeks' time when it's all over. Everybody should have simchas and everybody should have easy life. But there are times when things don't go exactly as we thought. But we say, Ani Yosef. I'm with Hashem. Hashem's looking at me and Hashem is looking after me. The ups are of course from Hashem and the downs are also. I'm going to use the ups and the downs and I'm going to build a life that would be able to say in the end of Chaim Kulchem Hayoim. Thank you.